Hello Aries, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead. How are you, my fire family? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. Look, we have some oracles we're going to look at for the overall feels for next week. And this is kind of the fallout from the full moon, right? So whatever you've decided that you're going to release, usually some of us, depending on your placements, right? How the moon and the rising influence your sun, sometimes we'll feel the most intense part of this leading up to the full moon, and sometimes the fallout comes after the full moon. So let's find out what is going on here. Aries, sun, moon, rising, Venus, and Jupiter. I hope you're well, my friends. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about how you can find the extended reads and how you can book a reading privately with me if you would like to do that. If you're a person who keeps coming around here, you're my ride or die. Thanks for doing that, Aries. Part of your little fire family here. I'm an Aries Taurus cusp. Aries North Node too. How about you? Where does it fall in your chart? And if you are brand new, welcome. I hope you will stay. We do get into a little bit of shenanigans around here. Tell me about Aries. All right. We've got fulfillment of wishes. Something you've been wishing for is about to show up. Look, fulfillment of wishes is card number 9. We are on the precipice, on the verge of a wish being granted for you here. It could be something emotional for some of you. We're always looking at what the cards, not only what the card means, but what are we looking at here? We have money, right? It could be money, riches, gold. It could be education. Maybe somebody is getting their doctorate, or maybe they're graduating something important. Maybe you're finally going to be able to explain your dissertation, right? Feels like it could be emotional for some of you, and for some of you it could be about growth, right, in all of those things. But something here is coming in, and it is a fulfillment of wishes for you. Tell me what else we need to know about Aries, please. It's right around the corner. We are at 9s. 10s are the end of the cycle. We do have it's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio, it says. Now, today, as you probably will get this early in the morning on Sunday, and it's already going to be, Mercury will be in retrograding in Scorpio. Up till now, we've been in this pre-shadow phase, and that can cause its own issues as Mercury is slowing down in the environment. The energy of Scorpio here is bringing things up from the bottom to the surface, right? So it's time to release negative things that you've been hiding, I'm going to say, because Mercury is all about what's going on in the head, right? What's going on in the mind. And you just may end up saying something you weren't planning on saying, releasing something you didn't plan on releasing. I think that the full moon in Taurus is working with this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio energy and bringing you to some sort of wish fulfillment. But listen, we don't all get there in the same way, right? And so sometimes the fulfillment of wishes could be, I finally said this. I finally said this thing and let it go. And now I can carry on to my wish fulfillment. We've got growth. I love it. That was the one that sort of flipped over my hand. I don't know if you noticed that there. We've got growth. It says, I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. So it does feel like that there is something negative that you're bringing from what the bottom, like the place in your gut where you just keep things hidden, where you're just not saying a thing, because Scorpio is the one who doesn't show their actual feelings on the surface. I think part of your growth is that you're expanding your consciousness and awareness, but understand that in order to do that, you're going to have to let some shit go. So the fulfillment of wishes is here. And although it may not look like a fulfillment of wishes on the surface at this time, I think that you will see how it plays out. We've got movement, choices, decisions. Those things can be beautiful, but sometimes they can be hard because it means we have to make decisions about what we're doing next. And so movement, choices and decisions. I feel like you are going to be making decisions. 2s are always about decision making. And so you're going to be making a decision to step into a brand new vibration where I feel like you're okay if nobody agrees with you. Listen, when you're in the Empress energy, whether you're a feminine or a masculine Empress, when you step into the Empress energy, it's because you know that when you put down the boundary, if people wander away and never come back, that you'll be okay with it. So for some of you, whatever it is that you're about to do or say that is something you've been holding on to or holding underneath the surface, I feel like you're making a decision here. Your decision is going to cause your choice, or decision is going to cause movement, but I don't know if you're really ready for it. It says here, prosperity lies ahead. We've got Taurus. It tells me somebody doesn't want to let something go. Taurus is very loyal and has a hard time letting things go or releasing things. And so I feel like you want to move into this Empress energy here. But look, we've got suffering and silence. Look, I feel like that's what's been going on. We've got 2 9s here. I feel like you've been suffering in silence, doing something that is not in your best interest. And when we're not living authentically, no matter what that looks like to you, what authentic means to you, when we're not living authentically, we're freaking miserable. And so I feel like somebody here has been too loyal, holding on to something. And even though your prosperity lies ahead, you've been holding yourself back. We've got the Death card. It's inevitable. Something is done here. We've got, I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. And I think it isn't until we get into the beginning that we realize that we actually are in the beginning, because the endings, we're so focused on whatever negativity is being collected by not saying something, by keeping it under the surface, right? With Scorpio energy. Scorpio is the King of Cups, and the King of Cups isn't going to let you know how they feel on the surface here. Let's look at some tarot for you. Tell me about Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Aries. What else do we need to know? Let's get a few details on the table for you here. Tell me about Aries, please. Tell me about this fulfillment of wishes. Whatever it is growth. And it's probably going to make you very emotional because you're growing out of an old cycle and into a new vibration. We've got the High Priestess, and there again is about silence, right? The High Priestess doesn't usually say anything, but is really is doing a lot of meditation, is connecting with the other realm, is very close to the veil. I feel like somebody came through this cycle at the end of October, right? Samhain is when we're very close to the veil. Halloween, right? It's the closest we are to the veil, and it feels like somebody has been sitting close to the veil here, knowing that a fulfillment of wishes is needed, because I don't want to stay silent or hold things under the surface any longer. That your consciousness needs to grow, it needs to expand, but you've got to bring everybody around you to an awareness of what it is that you're doing next, because you realize that your prosperity lies ahead, and that's what you want. That's what you need. Tell me about Aries, and it's time to release negativity, because if we keep it under the surface, it will fester. It will become negative energy. We'll start to resent people because we can't make the decision to hurt them and do our own thing. We've got the Page of Swords, right? It feels like somebody here has been observing the situation. Now, Scorpio is very strategic. And so we've got the full moon in Scorpio here. I know we just went through a full moon in Taurus, but Scorpio is very strategic, and Scorpio is the one who is the observer. And so I feel like you've been observing. You know, it's almost like somebody is sitting at the table in the house watching how my spouse reacts to me. Are they ignoring me in their environment? Are they paying any attention to me? I just gave them a bunch of attention. Are they giving it back to me? It feels like you're in this observing stage where you're watching how everyone treats you. You've all of a sudden become acutely aware with the Page of Swords. You're learning people's movements, and you've become acutely aware of what's going on around you. And you're observing it all. And I feel like you're growing resentment if you don't let it go. Tell me about growth. We've got the Two of Pentacles, and that's the terrible thing, right? Is that we have to make a choice or a decision eventually about what we want, because at some point it flips back on you. At some point, if you're going to live in this place of misery, it's because you choose not to obey your soul's growth. and you have a decision to make. And so the Two of Pentacles is trying to make a decision that is going to be permanent, right? We're talking 3D. We're not talking swords in the mind. We're not talking cups, right? We're not talking deepening connections. We're talking about, I'm about to make a decision that is going to be permanent in my 3D. After going back and forth, trying to keep my balance in the situation as it is, I think you've become a master balancer. I've left a space here because we're going to talk about what's coming up, not next week. This is next week. We'll talk about this, but this is the week after that. So we're going to see how things transpire into the week after that. Tell me more about Aries, please. We've got the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. We've got the King of Swords. Ooh, I got to be honest with myself. Is this really the place where I'm going to grow? I feel it's like you've hit a glass ceiling. I want to say with the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, it's giving me this energy of, I've hit a glass ceiling. I can no longer grow from here. If I don't leave, I can't grow my confidence. I can't grow my reputation. I can't grow financially. This is pre-Empress energy. I feel like someone is ready to step into the pre-Empress energy, but has been putting it off for a while. This is the Empress energy, right? And what's on top of the Empress here? Decisions. You can't have this Empress energy if you are not going to make a decision. If you decide to suffer in silence, which is also a decision, doing nothing is also a decision. It totally is up to you. But you're giving up the prosperity that lies ahead, because the prosperity that lies ahead is going to require a permanent change, right? A permanent change, and which is what we're talking about with the Two of Pentacles. Let's talk about the High Priestess. I feel like you've been thinking about this and holding it in and being mysterious and quiet about this for a while. Tell me what the fulfillment of wishes is. I feel like the universe is just waiting with the wand, waiting to grant some sort of wish for you, but you've got to make a really important decision here. We've got the Four of Swords, we've got the Five of Pentacles, and we've got Temperance in the reverse. I think that the reason you haven't done it up till now is because the universe hasn't told you to do it. And what I mean by that is when the Temperance is in the reverse for me as a reader, it is always the answer is no. It's not the time right now. And that's why you haven't said anything. That's why you're holding it under the surface. But you already are going through this place of the Five of Pentacles. I feel disconnected. I feel on the outside looking in. It's like I was saying, it's like you're in the kitchen and you're watching the whole family interact with each other and you're like, I don't belong here anymore. Maybe you live with your family. Maybe it's not a spousal thing. Maybe you live with your family and you're seeing how the family is getting along and you're like, I don't fit here anymore. So the Four of Swords is telling me the reason that you feel like you don't fit here anymore is because you've gone through some sort of a healing phase. And I feel like you're starting to become okay with being on the outside looking in. The healing is with the Five of Pentacles. It feels like you're starting to realize that when I'm silent or I'm quiet, nobody notices. Nobody asks me what's going on. It's like I'm not even here. It's like everything is going on around me. We could be talking about the workplace. Everything's going on around me. Nobody even notices I'm in the room. They don't really care if I'm here or if I'm not. I don't make a difference when I'm in the room. So why would I stay? I think that the only reason that you're still wherever it is that you are, it could be the job that you hate, or it could be a relationship you're not enjoying, or maybe it's just your place in the family. And I'm talking like maybe you're someone who lives with your whole family, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, right? It could be that kind of thing, but it feels like you're just not ready to go yet. I feel like the universe is ready to grant your wish whenever you're ready to go, but I feel like you're not ready to go yet, and that's okay, because Temperance is in the reverse, and the universe will let you know when the Temperance is in the upright. The moment of alchemy will be healed, and you'll feel comfortable with moving forward. But right now, I think that you are observing everybody and feeling more and more negative as you keep it under the surface. Like, it doesn't even matter if I'm here. Nobody cares if I'm here or not. We've got the Ace of Swords, we've got the Star, and we've got the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. It feels like in midweek, you're like, it doesn't even matter if I'm here. I could get up and go and nobody would really even notice. I'm not willing to put any more time, effort, energy, or money into the place where I am right now, into doing what I'm doing. The Ace of Swords is here. We've got two swords. So in the middle of the week, the decision is something that you're going back and forth with in the mind, right? That comes before making the actual decision in the 3D, the permanent decision. Right now, you're going back and forth with it in the mind. The star is here. It almost feels like in the middle of the week, you still have a little bit of hope. Well, maybe I'm just seeing it from the wrong perspective. Maybe I just need to put a little bit more work or effort or time or wait a little longer. I feel like the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse is saying, look, I've already put in enough time, effort, energy, and money. And I'm just not happy in the situation that I'm in. So it could be that you've realized that it's time for you to start looking for another job, that you have hit the glass ceiling in terms of finances, in terms of, it's like, when you get into a job where the person who's at the helm, you're qualified for their position, but they're not going anywhere because, well, they're probably going to be there for another 20 years. It feels like that sort of decision, but it's time for you to make a permanent decision about your growth and your consciousness. It's like you become aware by the end of the week that something here is just not going to work out for me unless I make a permanent decision about my movement. There it is. There's the permanent decision. We've got the Tower, we've got the Lovers, and we've got the Six of Swords. Well, doesn't that tell a story, right? I feel like your decision is going to cause everything to shift, and it might cause a relationship to shift. The Lovers is here. It isn't always about romance. It's sometimes about a choice, and we do have choices, movement, and decisions. So a choice to stop living in the chaos that I'm living in. And I feel like the chaos is right here in the Two of Swords in the block, not being able to make a decision because I don't want to hurt everyone else around me. It's like you're sacrificing you because you can't make the decision. But I feel like the Six of Swords is telling me that it's already in motion. I feel like with the Tower here, when the Tower shows up, there's nothing you can do to stop it. You just have to hang on for dear life while everything is falling down around you. And I think what's falling apart is some sort of either a relationship. It could be a love relationship. The Lovers is here. You're deciding it's not for you anymore. You're making some sort of permanent decision. It feels like it is a place where you feel like if you left, it wouldn't matter. Like the Six of Swords is here, that you want to go to the calmer place and get out of the chaos, but your growth is telling you, like, if you just left and didn't come back, they probably wouldn't even notice you were gone. You start feeling insignificant. And I think that's part of what the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse is about. That it's time for me to be honest and truthful with myself, with the people around me, and to make a decision I can face head on and just cut out the bullshit. It's time for me to make a decision about what I'm going to do next, because this is slowly whittling away my confidence. Every day that I don't make a decision, it's whittling away my confidence. It's time for me to take back my power. The King of Swords is here. I've got to say something. Tell me what is going on here. So this is going to be not next week, but the week ahead of that. We've got the Nine of Swords, we've got the Queen of Wands, and we've got the Seven of Wands. So it does feel like here somebody has decided, you know what, I'm just going to say it. It's going to cause a block. It's going to cause me to stand up for myself, and not everybody's going to be happy with that. The Queen of Wands is here because I feel like you're somebody, Aries, who has already been through the worst of it in your life. This is not the worst thing that's ever happened to you. However, the Queen of Wands is somebody who's sitting on the throne because they have been resilient. They've walked through the hardest part of their life. I've already walked through the fire. And although I'm worried about how everyone else is going to react, I do need to let it go. Nine of Swords, and the King brings in the Ace of Swords because it's a sword of truth. I need to be truthful and honest about where I'm going. It feels like somebody here is causing a permanent end, whether you're leaving the job. It says here that I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement, and we do have movement here. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. So it feels like I want to make sure that you're not going to think that this is like a failure situation, because it's not. I feel like it's something that you needed at the time to help you grow into the Empress energy, and now whatever is going on here, you've outgrown the environment, whether that's a relationship, a job, or that's a situation. It feels like you've outgrown it, and you can no longer sit here and suffer in silence. can no longer keep it under the surface. So we're going to go into the extended. I'm going to put down 3 cards here. We're going to talk about advice or what's going to come up in the future. We're going to clarify all of this, and we're going to get some more details about what happens when the Tower falls. Is this a relationship? What's going on with the Six of Swords? And why is it, your growth has been in motion for a very long time, but you finally come to the precipice where you can no longer ignore it. So we'll put down 3 cards, go into the extended. If you're interested in the extended, please look at the pinned comment at the top of all of the comments, and you will find there a link to the membership area. If you're interested in 4 extendeds per month, you'll want to be in the membership area. Otherwise, you can purchase this outright. If you just want to do this one, you can do that. There's a link in the pinned comment. But also, if you're interested in a private reading, I'm still doing those. I'm doing pre-recorded readings. I've got many different packages I've added to my repertoire there, and I'm also doing live calls. So if you're interested in speaking to me live or speaking to me face-to-face, we can do that as well. All right, so let's take a look at 3 more cards as we go into the extended. What are we talking about? For Aries, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Look at that. You've really taken your time, done a lot of reassessment. I don't think you can reassess it anymore. You've got all the details in the analytics. It feels like there's no more reassessment left. There's no reason for me to block my progress moving forward. It feels like somebody here is just about to reach the pinnacle of something or the top of the mountain, and I need to make a decision here. King of Cups. Well, didn't we talk about Scorpio? Scorpio is the King of Cups, right? The person who, although they keep their stability, they are somebody who's making decisions in a very emotionally intelligent way. Not going to lose my crap, going to keep it all under the surface. And we did talk about things that will fester under the surface if you don't take care of them. And I think that this block is going to cause negativity if you don't get rid of it. But I think you will, and we'll talk about what's coming up after that. Bottom of the deck, Death card. Look, I can't even write that. I got Death card and the Death card, right? Something here is about to transform and change, and it's because something else is ending. And not because it must end for no good reason, but because your future is waiting for you, and that must begin. So in order to make room for the future, the ending has to come on something else. Ace of Wands is what's at stake. Excitement, creativity, new, fiery, passionate. Go get it, Aries. You're the horse that they just took the bridle off of. It's time for you to run. Let's go into the extended and talk about that. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. And if you want to come to the extended with us, please, you know how to find us. If this is where we part, then it's all good. I'll be back. You guys take care of yourselves. Talk to you later. Bye.